Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on backup strategies and disaster recovery, best practices for PostgreSQL using Barman. I'm Annie, your host, and as always, I'm happy to have you join us today for this exciting session. And with me, I have our speaker of today's session, Semab Tariq. It is no secret that every hour of database downtime can potentially cost millions of dollars in data loss, lost revenue, opportunity cost, and compliance penalties. And you can minimize such risks for your businesses by ensuring there is a sturdy backup and disaster recovery strategy in place for your Postgres instance. So that's exactly what Semab will talk about today with a practical demo of the backup strategies and best practices needed for disaster recovery. And when it comes to PostgreSQL databases using Barman. So before we dive right into it, let me share a few housekeeping items. This session is being recorded, and as always, we will share the recording afterwards. We encourage you to use the Q&A feature and the chat box for your queries so that all these queries will be answered at the end in the Q&A segment. And that's all from my end. Over to you, Sima.
Um, yeah, thank you, Annie, for the great introduction. This talk is about how we can actually use Barman to implement backup and disaster recovery solutions in Postgres. So before we actually get started, a little bit about me. So the name is Semab Tariq, and I work as a Postgres consultant at Stormatics. My professional career was started back in 2017. Um, this is when I first joined a local software house in Pakistan. In 2018, I joined Second Quadrant as an automation engineer, and this was my first interaction with Postgres as well. In 2020, Second Quadrant was acquired by Enterprise DB, and I moved there and proceed my career as a DevOps engineer. In 2024, I joined Stormatics, and at Stormatics, we are focused to provide professional services for Postgres that include high availability, performance, monitoring, backups, and disaster recovery solutions as well. So this is a kind of an agenda about what we are going to what we are going to cover in today's session. So first of all, we are going to talk about the importance of data in real world. Then we will try to understand some basic terminologies used in backup solutions, and then we are going to see what is available in vanilla Postgres in terms of backups, and then we are going to see Barman in action, and we will configure Barman, and we will try to take a backup from our Postgres server and recover it just to simulate a disaster situation. And finally, we will conclude our presentation by mentioning some best practices for backups and followed by question and answer session. Let's first now talk about the importance of data in real world. So we often hear that data is new oil or gold. Over here, I have mentioned a couple of points about why data is really important for all the big organizations. So the number one is informed decision making. So that data can actually help us making the informed decisions. Um, Example for this could be sales data. By analyzing sales data, a company or organization can quickly identify which product to focus on in order to generate or maximize the profit. Number two is problem solving. Now, data actually help us to identify the root cause of the issue, and it enable us for effective problem solving solutions. So the example for this could be by analyzing customer feedback data, we can quickly identify the root cause of our problems and eventually leading up to fixing these issues. Number three is process improvement. So data can also highlight the insufficiencies available in our system, and it eventually allow us for process optimization. The example for this could be by analyzing manufacturing data, we can quickly identify the production delays of our product. Um, The next point is understanding the customer's behavior. So data data offer data mostly data offers us insights into customer preferences and behaviors. For example, purchase history for a customer can be used for targeted marketing or campaigns. The next and last point here is cost reduction. Data-driven strategies enhance efficiency. For example, data for an e-commerce store can help us to identify stocks level in the organization and eventually reducing the cost. So in our previous slide, we have discussed that why data is really important for us. So in this slide, let's talk about what are the consequences of the data loss. So first thing is financial loss. So if there is a data loss for any organization, it can lose its revenue, it can increase the cost of recovery and downtime as well. The other point is operational disruption. Data loss can always halt business process, and it can reduce the productivity, and it can enforce project delays as well. The next point is reputation damage. Now loss it so in case of data loss, we can have a company can lose the trust of the customers, and it can negatively impact their publicity for the company. The next point is compliance risk. So, in the case of data loss, a company can always face fines